Yeah, I am. So, this will be easy tonight. So we're going to do a safety lesson on skill saw use. How many here have used a skill saw before? Okay. Okay. Well, then we'll go over it quick. We're going to look at a bunch of different saws. And then we're going to do a little short lesson on the chop saw. How many have used the like a miter box? A lot of you. Okay. So this will be really short. We'll do a lesson on how to use the stock to cut all the same size, just to brush up on everybody. And then we've got these three blocks that go between the rafters of the structure of the campus. And they're a couple of different sizes, so we'll cut these. This is what we're going to cut this. And I was going to take stuff outside, set up in the shop, in the patio, because I thought there'd be a lot of us. But maybe we could just do it in here. I could bring some of the stuff back. And then these boards are obviously the rafters. You've probably seen these. Have you been in class with these piled up here already?
Yeah, last time.
Okay. So we just gotta, we'll make a template out of, I think this one's already a template. And we'll cut it and we'll use this one. This one's a template, but it doesn't go all the way. So you have to center each time, so we don't want to do that. And so Rodney and I marked this one, so we'll cut this one and use this one as a template. And we'll just cut the rest of them. And that's all we had to really do, so it shouldn't take too long. So we can also talk about the structure. The shape structure. It's kind of a shed pergola that we're going to put over. What is it? A wash basin for vegetables?
Yeah.
For outside produce?
Yeah, it's a triple wash stainless steel sink that
Yeah.
we poured a concrete slab for
Yeah.
over fall, and it has what are those called?
Well, it's got posts, right?
Simpson
Yeah.
tie.
Oh yeah, yeah. The hardware,
Yeah.
the concrete, and you said you already pulled the concrete? You did it, didn't you?
Yes, that'd be a
No. Because no one's living in it. So yeah.
City, something tied to a city college.
The one thing I noticed about this is he has that cut. We talked about this. He came over and we brainstormed and revision design. So there's a formula. I teach the roof building, the roof frame class, so I have you right here. But there's a formula for how wide to make this seat cut on the bird's mouth. And the formula is you match this with the size of the member underneath this. And then whatever this comes out, given the slope, that's all it is.
Those are over the.
But Rodney went in and just said, I want this to be 1.5. So because he did that, this goes past the end of the,
Thank you.
it goes past that, so you'll see a little flat part and then it'll go up. So I would have this less, like 1 inch, and have this come even.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so sometimes people will go and they'll actually keep that
to make it look nicer.
to make it look nicer, but that's a bitch to cut that perfectly around that. I mean, you can do it, and outside structures are like they're halfway between finish and framing, right? They're not covered by anything, so they're technically framing, but you're gonna see all the, for that reason, you're gonna see all the joint stuff, so you gotta have it finished quality. So yeah, so his goes, it's like 8 inches, and this is like a 5.5. I think. And you don't really need much to lock these in. An inch is plenty. Okay. When I first started framing in the 70s, 1970s, I used to just go in and make 1.5 inch plumb cut and do the same thing, but so those were all covered by the rest of the house, so you couldn't tell. And then it wasn't until years later I realized that, there's actually a way to do it where that ends up the same size. And you kind of want it that way, because usually it's going like this, right? Here's your wall, that's usually your ridge, and this is your front wall.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't come really close to that, but it's back like this is, then when you have sheetrock come down here, it's gonna have a little void under there, and if your sheetrockers are sloppy, they can hit that, crush that. So it's you want to usually try to get that pretty close. So we got a bunch of saws. This is our original saw here, right? So how many of you own, do any of you own steel saws?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have the heavy ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Oh, yeah, they have it.
So, have you used a skill saw before? Oh, okay, so we got a lot of people that are in the trade. So, if you take both of these, they're different. The Renham one now they sell on, it's got, what's the metal it's got in this?
The magnesium.
Magnesium, yeah. So it's quite a bit lighter. When you're using that all day and above your head, it's kind of nice to have that. Framing's a matter of, it's like hammering by hand, which nobody does anymore either.
Yeah.
But, if you don't frame every day, your muscles get weak, and then your 32-pound hammer's really a bitch. And you gotta go back down to a 30 or 28.
Yeah.
So you gotta stay in shape, same with skill saw. And then we got the new one. We just bought a bunch of these, or a couple of these cordless. I haven't even used this one yet. But so we won't use it.
It has one on it.
Huh?
Doesn't it have one on it?
Oh, it does.
Yeah, I'll show you.
So we can use both. And then this is a Bigfoot, right? You guys use these, some of you?
No, I've never used
You know what they are. right?
Yeah.
So it's just a bigger size. That's 7 1/4. And this is, I don't know what this is. 10 inches or so? Maybe 10 inch.
Good for cutting posts, right?
What's that?
Good for cutting posts.
Yeah, sure. Cutting that one right there.
4x.
Right. Yeah.
And that's probably a 6 by 6. Yeah, so they hit a 4 by 4. So it's nice if you're doing outside stuff and you want a clean cut, you don't have to join 2 cuts. Right. These are great. They have a nice what's that called? When it kicks back over that when you turn it on, so you gotta be careful. And then we do have the big giant beam saw in there. But which we need to cut that 6 by 6 if you want to do that.
So that's what we used.
Yeah. But anyway, so why don't you come over here? We'll just go over what we're gonna do with the chop saw, and then we'll just get everybody going. Oh, yeah.
No, those are from Hayward. But yeah, I got one of those Home Depot deals. It was great. Got
So-
a grinder too.
Good. What was the deal?
So,
It's like $200 for that and an extra free tool, or $250 with 2 batteries. It's a really good deal. Yeah. Our department got one too. The work department, we got one of those too with a sander.
so one thing about managing wood is you get this scrap. I mean, these are all the same, except this one's short. So I suppose you all know enough to make sure you get the most out of this one piece. So if you have the smaller pieces, you can get 2 out of this, then go ahead and use this. Because if you use it for a longer piece, then you're gonna have a medium-sized scrap that's kind of worthless. I think this is probably twice as big as either of the sizes. You got a 22.5. That'd be 45, so it's 48. And the other one's smaller, so you don't have to worry about it. But it's always good to manage your stock like that so you don't cut too much. You take They've already been ripped, you know, for the we gotta cut the length. What does it say?
Cut this.
Four at 21 and 3/4. So, so, you know, if a chop saw is fixed, the old ones used to be fixed, they didn't have a, something like that. And so the blade would touch right in the middle of your board. So if your mark was on the edge, you couldn't line the blades up with the mark. So it's better to, yeah, this is right.
Oh, right, substitute. Okay, I'm here then. Sorry.
So if you have one that doesn't extend, then you need to just take it and mark it all the way across, right? Which is an extra step. You don't want to do it if you don't have to, but this way, if this was fixed and didn't pull out, I could line it up where it fit. So you're gonna cut it to this length, right? Yeah. These ends are probably good enough. Sometimes I'll check the stock. If I have a bunch of pieces, I'll check 2 or 3 just to see if the ends are square. And if they are, I won't worry about it. So I'll line it up to this point. Then I'll bring the stop over. To meet it. It's a little funky, but. That screw pulled it off. So you might check every once in a while because this isn't the best connection here. To make sure you're still. See that screw pulls it in. Damn it.
What is it doing? I'm not getting it.
When I screw it to tighten it, it pushes the board this way for some reason. Yeah.
Do you need somebody else to tighten it while you hold it?
Or they all
No,
are the same size?
no, it's not really tight. It's just, you know, these stands that you get, they're only so good, you know, they only go so far. Right. And then we'll set up a, like that, then you just take the next one. And be careful, don't ram it hard because it'll throw that off. Okay, so these are 22 and a half. And there's 12 of them, so you might as well do 10. Who's ever going to do this, might as well do 10 more at this size, and then right down here, it's 12 at 22 and a half, and 4 at 21 and 3. Those are the end ones are shorter. 21 and 3/4, okay? So that's that. And let me show you just a little bit with the skills, and then we'll divide up and people can, especially people who haven't, we'll let the people who haven't use the skills on a chop saw every day, let them take some of the first cracks at it. We don't need this. So let's put that to the side, maybe over there by the blackboard.
You want an extension? So you can plug in the saw in there.
So we're gonna cut these here.
I think there was one.
No, it's out. You want to go out in the patio? There's a yellow one and an orange one that are, the yellow one's fine. That big yellow. I took them all out because I thought we were gonna work out there.
Yeah.
So, well, although the class is growing by the minute. What do you think?
How you doing?
If we don't cut them here, we have to haul them all out.
Right.
Make them do
It's up to you.
it. So.
Patrick, do you have a jigsaw app too?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Jigsaw, it's over there.
Yeah,
Okay.
jigsaw's over there. Now Rodney, I couldn't find what Rodney had. Set aside, so I got that.
He said he got a new blade for
Yeah,
it.
he's got blades. I just
Okay.
couldn't find it. so I
Okay.
got here.
Here.
Actually, where'd you find that? Is that over there?
That one was over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be yellow. No, it's
Oh.
okay. Let's use that for the skills. Let's use that for this saw. And then we use the yellow one for the skill saw. Now, since this, you're gonna cut it with skill saw and then finish it with this, you could use a wide, spreader, but it's actually nicer if you have separate cords. It's more flexible. You can get a couple of guys working on it too, and they don't have to stay in the same place. So,
You're not gonna try out the cordless, Patrick?
oh yeah, I am. So that's all we need then. Oh, he's coming back. Yeah, you went for nothing. Thanks for telling me that. This has got a little, I haven't used.
Old
this yet.
habit.
We got two cordless nail guns, which I have used. I like those.
Once you figure out how to
Yeah,
turn it
those are
on.
nice.
Yeah, the turn on thing. Why don't they do that? God, you just want to on and off, They were all, there's a whole panel I'm going. Somebody, it was either Lewis or.
No, it was me. I
was
came over
working
to
with- I
that
think it was
job you
Lewis
were
who
at. You're like,
figured out how to do
I
it.
think the battery's dead. And then I pushed the on button and it worked.
I know, so. The safety lesson is never prop this up with a shim. So you have to use two hands, like this, when you're cutting at a steep angle, it'll lock the guard, it won't push the guard up. So you have to pull the guard up and use two hands. When you're cutting this kind of angle, it doesn't matter, because the guard will push itself up. A lot of people do it, I've done it most of my life as a carpenter, to put a shim in there.
Yeah.
Especially for if you're alone and you need to, you gotta hold something and you don't have a third hand, so you do that. But I gotta tell you, one time I was cutting steaks, steaks are cut two ways, and if you cut them four ways, they go in straighter, they don't move. So I was cutting a whole bunch of steaks, and I just took the saw down, and I put it down like this, and I ran it by. I didn't feel anything. I looked down and my pant was torn. My jeans were torn. I thought, what's that? And I looked in and it was starting to bleed. It only cut about that deep, so it's not, it was a superficial cut. I think I had to stitch it, but it's that easy, you don't even know it. So if you're experienced, you can do it, but just be really careful to always keep the saw away from you. When you set the saw down on the ground, make sure you set it like that. So not like that, so the blade, if you set it, if the guard's up and the blade's there, it'll just take off. You don't want to do that either. I just set this for you. So. So also, it's good to keep the blade close to the depth you're cutting, like maybe an eighth or quarter longer, because then there's less. If you get a hand under there or something else, there's less damage it'll do. If you have it full throttle, you're going to cut off the finger pretty easily. It's more efficient when it's all the way down, when the blade's longer.
Yeah.
So you trade that off. So it's not a big deal. Just cutting stuff. No, that's not right either. Yeah, so always check square this way and the depth. That's the yeah, this the thing I don't like is all these safety things, Build skills.
Yeah.
Just pull the trigger. One in the old days, we used to go into this a little bit because the blade's round, so it doesn't, so where the top is, on the bottom, it's not cut that far. So if you cut both ways, it won't fall because there's still a little piece. So if you go past it 3/4 of an inch both ways, it'll drop. But the code doesn't allow it anymore. They won't pass it if you do that. It's really weird because the depth of a cut, you've got a certain amount of proportion, and even if you cut past it, it's still within that proportion. So there's no reason for them not to okay it. It doesn't really weaken the thing. Same thing with stair stringers, you have the same problem. You could go past, it wouldn't hurt structurally, but they don't want you to do it. So now you have to cut it with a skill saw and then go on with something flat like a saber saw. Or when I worked in Maine for 10 years, where it's a little older style, like, you know, those houses are 200 or 300 years old, and the woodworking tradition is older. And they just use saws, and they don't use little saws. They have big saws, and they take the, you know how a saw has a horn on it. Well, that horn is right where it's going to be right in your palm when you're going to do that. So they just cut that horn off. And they have a special saw, and they just go in and cut it a couple of swipes. So the worst spoiled, we have to have everything electric. So Japanese saws work pretty good too. You know, those new sharp Japanese saws, you can just stick those in. So this is where you really have to use your finger because trying to get this real good because this is going to be the template, right? So if you get off the line, don't try to curve back. It'll just burn. Pull it back a little bit. And pull it back slowly, because if you pull it back and it goes at an angle and hits the wood, it'll jump. So whenever you pull something back, do it slow, you know, do it really slowly and try to do it right along the cut you made. Can you hand me that the plug in? Yeah, saber saw, yeah. Now, this is technically called a saber saw, but everybody calls it a wood saw. So, is anybody really accurate with their skill saw cuts? No one wants to do it?
Miguel raised his hand. You're in Santa Maria, dude. How are you gonna do it?
You want to try it?
Over Zoom?
Yeah, garage, we can do some samples here.
If only you could do it from
Why don't
where
we
you
pull
are.
this and turn it around? Yeah.
I got a lumber yard in my backyard. I guess I'll pick it up.
Gotta get that truck fixed, man.
Yeah, no, I got actually got rid of it.
Setting like this.
Vehicle here soon.
Have you used one of these before? With the cordless?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, Ben's a pro.
Oh, yeah.
No pressure.
What class did we have together before?
He was in
Remember?
roof framing over summer.
Oh, roofing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Left hand, right.
Do you need to pull that more?
You could do it left hand, you could drop it down right-handed, but that's a lot of work too.
No pressure. Then. The thicker line, right? Not the thinner
Oh,
line.
yeah, it's not the clearest line, yeah. Let's do another one on top of that. Where do I see those?
Can you Sharpie?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and where's that, that speed square over there on the tabletop? See, and I remember you were that way before in the last class. He asked a question before he goes ahead and makes a mistake,
Smart.
which is really a great trait. Well, I think I did.
The right line, on the right line, or was that the right
No,
line?
that was the right line. So you need to
The
go,
next one?
yeah, just do a little over. I don't know. Hard to tell.
Mhm.
And then go ahead and finish with this. So if you only have a limited amount of wood, like just have the exact number of pieces for the rafters and the lumberyard an hour away. If your boss wants it done a half an hour ago, go slow and make sure you do it right. You know, because once you blow that one thing, then you're.
Yeah, there's something weird about that jigsaw. No, the motor like fluctuates in power.
Oh, really?
That's what Rodney was saying last time. Yeah, it's like oscillating and it's
Yeah.
a little bit.
Well, if it appears like it's getting dangerous, we've got money to, repair it. So, why don't, whoever wants to work on the chop saw, why don't you take these over on the floor and let us, because we need to spread out here. So, maybe we could get two sets going, right? Now, it's also really important to keep them all crowned, and I assume you crown them all, yeah. So the crown will be up that way for both areas. No, go back. Yeah. So do you all know about crown?
Yeah.
Crown?
What I didn't get was, what do you mean crown value?
The crown up, the up crown is facing that.
Oh, on these ones?
Yeah,
Oh,
So-
okay, I thought you meant on those.
no,
ones.
and these Rodney stacked all these. Those are so short that the crown really won't matter. But Rodney stacked all these, so the crown that way.
Okay.
And we could turn that pile. Actually, we're gonna have to turn that pile, but we want to cut them off. Yeah, go ahead and turn all those over, just like all three of them. Yeah. Yeah. Because when you put this on there, it's gonna be like this, right? So. Oh. Something's not right. No, they're facing the wrong way. Let's see, hold on.
Oh, the angles.
I know. No.
Well, I got to turn this one around this way. Well, that's how you turn it around for you to cut here.
Right.
Yes, let's go around. Because the things were lining up.
So now you have to turn it back.
So they're gonna be. Just line these up at one end, and down at this one, everybody at this end. And then make sure they're flush, and then you can mark.
Halfway there.
That should be now. So then, can you guys use it that way? Yeah. Go back and forth. Now, if they have different size crowns, these are not going to be flush. The whole way. So line up the ends, and then you just want to do 50 different curves. And then go down and make sure that one's flat, you know.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because the difference in crown will make this. We don't have to cut the iron because it's already cut, so. Okay, so you like that green saw?
Yeah.
Why don't you use those two there and then we'll set up a corded. Did the yellow cord ever get in here? After all that. I'll get that. Oh, well.
You got a fail. So for instance here, Patrick,
What's that?
for instance here, so if I put it flush here, but then it doesn't match here, you want me to go?
No, yeah, so push that in.
Oh, that end.
Yeah, here, push it over so it's still that.
Okay. So that way.
Still fine, that one. That's good loading. You guys ever cut rafters?
Did I or in high school?
No, in their classes.
My last program we built.
Let me know when
Yeah,
it's
we
done.
did.
You get those hit.
They did the first mouse. Yeah. So this one is more, I look more as like, buy more your manufacturing.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, something now.
Almost. We're gonna mark all of them, right?
Yeah, you can, sure. That's an idea. And in the meantime, somebody can cut these. Anybody want to? with the cord still fine?
You got it there?
Yeah, Lou, hey Lou, you want to flush that out first at the end, just make sure it's flushed.
Because what they're gonna fucking actually has power.
So, yeah, are you using the same template for all of them?
Yes. This is the template.
So that's, you guys know that? Use the same template for all of them, because each time you cut it, the cuts are slightly different. And it'll grow. But the template will be a whole different place. than the first one. We don't do that. Now, if you're not comfortable, if anybody, not you, but if anybody's not comfortable cutting that steep cut where you have to hold everything, just let someone else do it. And watch
Is
it.
this already marked like this, right?
It's like a-
Oh, this both? Okay.
So we'll cut these. You guys cut those. Now stay on this side of the line if you can.
Why was this?
No, now here's another thing. When you're cutting, normally you scribe something with a pencil and cut on the right of the line, right? If you're right-handed, because the saw, you're looking over and you're looking at the line. Sometimes you can't get the saw in that position. So you have to cut it, on the inside of the line. You gotta keep those straight, that's the thing. So like, yeah, so you're going this way and you can't, you gotta cut on the inside of the line.
So is this good right here, if I keep this, like little triangle right?
No, well, no, gotta put you on that side of the line. So that's a great question. So, I forgot to do this. So when you guys are cutting these, you're gonna cut to the right of the line, right? Unless you can't get to it, like here we gotta cut to the left. But I cite it all the time when I cut. I never use these things. A lot of new guys use those. And if you're doing a lot of rough cuts and it's not, the length isn't exactly okay, these triangles are okay. But they're for the right side of the line, so you can't use it for the inside line. It'll be off the size of the cut. So that one, you gotta just look, you gotta get down and look at it by sight. You just have to get down and look. That's why we need goggles if you don't have. I do have one set of goggles, bifocal, so you can't use that. The other ones are at the main campus apparently. Or we could use those too, yeah. So I forgot, most people are taught to follow that little cut in it, but you won't need this for the upcuts, but if you're down looking at it down low, you just. Yeah. So the saber saw blade, if it hits wood, it'll jolt, So always slide it in from the end. Always just slide it in from the end because it's already cut a little bit. Not much. You only have a little bit to start. You can see it.
Patrick, I have a question. So the way we were using a template.
Yeah.
We were using, on that side, we were using it like this, right? And then we would turn it this way.
Well, just
And then we would flip it.
just make sure he's already crowned and cut him.
Right.
So if it fits that way, the ends are going the same way. You're right. That wasn't your question.
It's sort of, yes, you answered it, but
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure.
look at the angle, then at the end,
Yeah.
it's opposite, so we would flip it.
These aren't opposite, these are the same.
This one and this one.
Oh, yeah. So that's why, see, that's why we put this. This is cut this way.
So, 'cause when we line them up, they were.
This is a project that mess to get into when you try to
But you do have you
Well, let's make
also do
sure.
have another point.
This is, which one was the original?
So this one is, this belongs to inside the
This is the original. Yeah, so that's good for those.
Okay. This one, because that side is fine, I think.
Oh, yeah.
This side we just need to double check.
Yeah, this one's okay.
This one particularly.
No, no,
This one is fine. This one belongs to this side.
no, it's done wrong. It's not for either side. You have to redo it. So turn it this way
Yeah.
and then put this on it.
The thing is that we turned it, remember that we.
No, I know, but
Look
it
at
can't be
that.
that way.
Now the angles are
This
lining up.
dictates where, how it goes. The angle. Yeah, so
Does that
remark
have
it.
an angle to that? Yeah.
Well, those angle cuts, they match, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. we can-
The
What?
scrap, we have our cuts for free flex, these are all,
You got all the cuts?
yeah, these are all scrap.
Yeah, just set it down. Yeah, let's see.
Same length.
They're all the same length. And if the ends match, that's the way it goes. You mark it. So mark this one again, and just keep checking them as you go. Okay, so this one's okay. This is okay here. In fact, we'll give it to those guys. They'll be ready.
Put an X on that. Flip it so that they don't get
Now, here. Ronnie will see it.
No, because you're actually going opposite.
You're gonna sand it out. Actually, you know how, what a perfectionist he is, right? You know that already.
Right.
But students are cutting these, so they're not gonna be perfect, so that's what you have to work on. These are good.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay, they're all good. So we're one at a time right here. Yeah. And actually, right there.
We already bring the.
Yeah, we're done, so we're just cleaning up.
Try to get on that outside.
You know, why don't you, when you do, get that out of the way so they can, cut both sides.
Kickback. Just like this guy.
Or the cut it. Yes.
But you can't cut it right here because, well, yeah, you can do it here. The other side, you have to go the other way. So you can't use that. You have to side. So when you get to the when you get to that. Yeah, that's good. We'll check it out.
He actually moved over to SB.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you take it then?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, you have to start by. It's
It's a, oh, no, you're,
so we co-taught last year during Zoom. I moved back up in the area.
you gotta, that's hit the wood.
The beginning of this year, he got
Okay.
so he's doing the same thing. Coaching.
Okay, so the one that
Yeah. Wow. Now, is that on it? Oh, you don't like that.
So
It's on the point.
it's on, that's what I was thinking, I was like, I don't think it's either one.
That is so stupid because the skill files are all on the valley, yeah.
A good half inch. So I killed
So that's my fault. I had to
So
go
I'm
on
at this
on
point.
the part. Yeah, interesting. Well, I don't know if that's easier to see or not.
And I'll finish, and by the time I press the rest of it,
Still
it's
would
still
do,
got
they never
movement
changed
to
it.
it. To get you to
So
the
try,
end,
try this
by
part.
the time I'm at the end, my blade.
And again, you got, now this you gotta go on the
Because
inside.
the issue
So you have to
with
look.
any, this tool and these
So you have to
tools
get
in
down,
particular, is
you
this
can see
thing
where
will back at you and that's your.
So I would forget that.
Obviously, that's why
You
they
just-
have the guard, right? So if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
killing your
And
blade
don't start it with it touching. Always
Yeah,
start a
yeah.
little bit back.
at that point, you're gonna be. So if you do the torque out.
So you, all the three guys,
Your,
it's just
where
get
you're not
a
gonna-
board with a bunch of lines on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, we could do that now.
You
can get it started.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. I love
Put that cord around.
So have it go all the way down to touching the road, then we'll cut it off. I also, I've never taught you to do this way. You know, college, but I've never taught college, right? So- Careful, your blade was almost hitting that sawhorse, not that it's a big issue, but if there's nails there. It's.
How we doing? No fingers crossed yet?
Draw this one.
Yeah. Like, we're close to it. With that.
Maybe, yes, he always said that.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's kind of hard for everyone to kind of. No, I gotta leave it on for the. I don't think you mark it down. I mean, you gotta mark it. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely different. High school.
Red cord?
Yeah, the, at your feet, where's that from? Wherever it goes, that's part of it.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah.
It's plugged in where you are, Ken? Okay, leave it plugged in, that's good. Maybe even sound it.
Why is it online?
It's gonna go to the right, it's gonna go to the right of the line. That's the line.
So looking at these two little ridges, which ones are you lining up with?
No, don't, look down at the blade,
Okay.
where the blade hits the, you wanna be on that side of the line. as the blade. Yeah.
Too far over the
Oh,
first time I tried.
Oh, perfect.
Wait,
When you have the wood's not even touching that. What happens when you set off the wood? You have to line up with. So, those who really need to plywood, you have a line.
That's why we do that.
Oh, it's great. If that works.
Hey, look.
No, no, in the corner. Yeah. That'll keep you out.
There's another, saber shop.
You have like a lot of room for error. What's that? With these bird kids.
We have to find a plug.
This doesn't have a roof on it.
Oh, here, use the plug over here. Coming after.
This one's gonna drop lower than.
Oh, I
the other one.
Do we have any extras? What? Do we have any extras?
I don't know if you're playing or not, but if you really want.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
I had a class where I taught high school kids when they made boxes and they had decorative lids and candles. I would take every cylinder I could lift, they could use it.
Hey, Patrick.
I think the size won't matter as much as long as you make sure your size flush.
So these boards have different crowns.
Yeah.
They're bent, so you'll never get everything lined up. So line this up. And then when that's lined up, then go down and make sure this is flush, even if it's smooth all over. Yeah, but when you pull it out, I just put one. can see it from there? You're just gonna continue along. You also hold it up a little while, it's on the generator.
It's on the, directly on that one?
It's on the okay, if it gets hard, it may be
Disregard,
tension.
disregard the.
Now that one, you're gonna be on the. This one, you're gonna be on this side of the line too.
Does your boss give you a raise, give an A?
No, but this is on the right line, you're gonna be on the left. It was on the right.
Then it's not correct.
But then we need the,
Yeah.
It was okay. Why is this the wrong way? Turn it. I think this is the one we were just moving around.
Was this right the first time?
no, it looks like it is.
Who threw on this one? Why is this weird?
This is the correct one, right?
Yeah, I think so. That,
Yeah, that should be right.
yeah, okay. Yeah, it's good. Okay.
Where's it?
Cut it as is. Wouldn't it be awful if we cut half of them one way and half the other? Roger.
Well, Hayward just sent us the bill for this. I don't think they've been paid yet.
We're not paying you because we screwed them up.
Yeah, sorry, guys. We cut it the wrong way. No, we're gonna put this.
So, every time you put a new skill. That's when you need to start. I called her up.
Oh, is that where the field trip is?
Yeah, yeah, I'll send that one.
Where's that? Okay. Yeah, on the
I
right.
can meet you here, is this convenient?
Yeah, or I could
Someplace you
I
can-
could also come over to walk over to your house.
You live close, right?
I walk back home.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, you can do that.
Okay,
I'll tell you, I'll let you know what time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get there at 1, so.
Let me just quickly check my work schedule. If it does, it'll be the last week. I just changed it to. Nope, it doesn't. Great. That'll work.
We'll go there and then. We'll go to the campus, downtown. Downtown. Actually, there's a lot more to read it. But I don't want to go here and then all the way back to the region. So this is useful. Don't feel like that,
Which one? So I need the morning.
Today's. What's the date today?
Today's the 8th.
Oh, it's 2.
You got it? Is that it?
Last one. Pass the glasses. Makes it like it's hard to blow bugger.
So you're trying to turn it while you're inside.
Yeah, pull it back out and.
Yeah, and adjust yourself.
That's better.
Yeah, pull it back together, you don't see it's going better. Pull it back there.
How late do you think we're gonna go?
When you pull it back, slightly turn it. You can do that, but it don't.
Sorry, that-
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, well.
I was expecting you to say, oh, yeah, we're gonna.
So yeah, just pull it back and then slightly, but don't do it over.
This is mostly have to do it, I want to clean up, and say a few things. No pressure.
There's nobody around you right now. Nobody's looking at you.
Everyone's on their phone.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody on Zoom. Yeah.
There you go. What about the site? Don't do it while you're in there. Yeah.
I'll do the rest of it.
Yeah, you can do the rest with it, with a saber saw. too. We're not gonna do this over my blade, just cut this side and then we'll use the jigsaw on the rest. Jigsaw around. Don, can you move just a hair?
Be a lot better when you got your fucking whole hand. Yeah.
All right, jigsaw. Good. Hey,
First try.
hey, Louis. You want to go? Kent? You don't have to stay the whole time.
I'm good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is gonna be painted or stained?
Probably. Something like that.
You don't know which one.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if there's any defects from student, beginning students.
We'll write their names on the bird's mouth.
Yeah, this actually would show it, because it-
We can put the box.
So what,
If you get me on the attendance list, I came in late.
no, I'm gonna call, Laura. I have to call. I'm not like Rodney, I'll do it 4 times. So this
Did you
is
take
the
her off
green,
that day?
right?
Yeah.
Now see how much, let's get the square,
You got it.
I chamfered all these, so we don't have a square corner, but. See how this bird's mouth goes? It hits this one way out here. 5.5 to here, and then it's 8 3/4, I think was what he made. So this won't look bad because, you know, you don't, because they're 2 straight lines meeting. So that doesn't look too bad. But some people will, in order to get this point to be here, you have to make this point about like that. So instead of 1.5 inches, you have more like 1 inch.
Selling doorstops.
So. And traditionally, these kind of lock the rafters together. You know, you're gonna nail them also, but there's a
Yeah, I
big
got
wind or
these
something, you've got all that catching there. Okay, so let me take a roll. Miguel Barbosa.
You gonna put it on your bike?
uh,
I got stolen.
He's on. Zoom?
Goes on Zoom.
I think we're muted.
That's why you leave it in the
Oh, really?
corner.
Jesus,
It's
is
super
Jesus
bad in
correct?
here.
Oh, you're here, okay.
I don't know, do you want it?
Daniel Delgado,
Yeah.
Alex,
Here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Benjamin Duran? Oh, yeah. How do you say your name?
Benjamin or Benjamin?
No, the Duran.
That is fine, or Duran.
Duran, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I forgot. And Aaron Dwelly?
Here, Aaron
Yeah, I'm
Dwelly.
here.
Oh, he's on there?
I'm on Zoom.
And then Adair,
Were you born over there?
I was born there.
Tyler, here. Zach, are you there?
Here.
Evan is not doing well.
Here.
Connor?
Yeah, I'm here.
And D'Angelo? Oh, yeah. You know, you got your mask on. I can't recognize anybody. Rodney put the neck completely differently. Then Joshua?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've had you in class before, haven't I?
Yeah, I had it on.
Oh, yeah. This last time?
Yeah, Bruce Rainey.
Oh, yeah.
You don't recognize him?
Yeah, I do. I never forget a face. I just don't remember the name.
A masked face?
Trent?
Yeah.
Hey, Trent. And John Tappy. Okay, great. So cutting inside and outside a line, you first learn to cut to the right of the line, but you have to learn to do it to the left. It's the next stage in your cutting, because sometimes you can't get to it any other way. You have to be able to lift up the guard, sometimes to drop it in, sometimes for all kinds of reasons. For these, you have to stop short, obviously, because the bottom, you know, you can see the round. That's where the skill saw blade ends. It doesn't go all the way to the end. Then you got to use the saber saw and finish it. It's really important to be careful, like we were. I mean, we caught our mistakes. And if you're splitting up the pile, make sure you do them all the same way. It's easy when you split it, then you're, you know, it's my fault because I wanted to split it, but it didn't make things go faster. But got to make sure you're cutting them the same way. When I was a kid, my dad went to USC, and he would make, in our backyard, he'd invite all his friends over and then make floats for the Rose Parade. And he would hand me wood. He would cut something, hand me wood, and I'd go around and hand him the same piece again. So I screwed up so many pieces until he got mad at me. So from early on, I realized how important it is to really be organized and to keep your mind on things. Yeah, so we did great. So are you gonna, when are you going to campus over there to work on this next? Because you don't do it at night, right? So you got to find a Saturday.
Yeah, I think, well, since James's class is starting tomorrow, we'll start on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, I'd imagine this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
It's up to him, I think. and
Oh,
how he
yeah. But it
feels.
could be this Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Well, that'd be really cool if you could just go from tonight to that.
yeah. I don't
Oh,
know.
you've got beams out there that are posts that you have to,
They still need to
Chamfer?
be, yeah, they still need to be,
is he gonna have you guys do that?
with Rodney probably, yeah. So we might not get.
So you
to-
might not, so
this
you
Saturday,
couldn't go
probably.
because you can't put this on before these are done.
Right,
You could do these in place, but it's a lot easier here.
yeah.
Make him do this in one session, okay?
All right, I'll try.
We did these in one session. He's got to do, how many posts are there? 8,
I can't remember.
6 or 8?
Yeah,
He can do that in one night.
he's a
God.
perfectionist, so it takes me a little bit.
Well, if he lets students do it, he's got to give that up because students, and they're new
Well, he
students.
gave this up, so that's a step in my direction.
This shows more, so he's probably very worried about this.
Well, and this is what we practiced on, and it really, that router especially really chews things up. So
Yeah.
you have to be careful with it. The Makita is not as bad, but it's also not as powerful, so
What's he,
I think this is the.
what's he
Makita.
chamfering this? Is he going to do the top edge? And why?
Well, I think it's just that it's showing, and then.
I mean,
maybe the sides.
let's just be the bottom.
No, those are gonna be sticking out.
Yeah, but, oh, the beams are going to get chamfered too.
Yeah.
Are they wider? Are these
The
4 by
uprights
6
and
by
the
8?
beams.
They're all,
Yeah, they're bigger.
they're bigger, they're a little wider.
Yeah, they're bigger.
But see, if you do any of these top edges where there's a joint,
I don't think we're gonna do the
okay,
top.
then you
I think
got,
we're just doing the sides.
yeah.
And then what's sticking out, right?
Oh,
There's gonna be some sticking
yeah,
out the
yeah.
sides.
But so that's, so no, the edges where you have trouble because that grain, it's hard to do.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, you should, I mean, you got 8 posts just doing the, you should be able to do it. Make him do it.
Yeah, see, it flakes off.
Yeah, no, make him do these. He's showing you the stuff, so that's good. He's already done that. So now you should just mark all these and just do it. And then the next Monday, go work on it. I mean, the next Saturday morning. Yeah?
I'm sure he has a plan. I don't know.
And you gotta, don't tell him this, but you gotta kick him in the butt a little bit.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Okay, any questions? I mean, a lot of you guys already know how to do it, knew how to do a lot of this.
Patrick, I've got one if you can hear me.
Zach has a question.
Oh, yeah.
So with the diagonal cuts that you guys are doing tonight, is it better to use a crosscut blade or a ripping blade?
On the skill saw, a crosscut blade.
What is that?
Well, either one would be okay. It's such a small area. I don't think it matters.
If you were doing a much bigger cut, so on the same diagonal,
Yeah.
how would you do it?
I would probably do a rip blade or a, ripping blade.
Does it
Skill saws, the blades are so close together. They make them so they're kind of a combination crosscut rip.
Mhm.
So that's, and most of the time skill saws are cutting rough wood, right?
Mhm.
They're framing, they're not gonna do something exposed.
So having that kind of tear out doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but just an all-around blade would probably work.
That makes sense. Cool.
If,
Thank
if,
you.
if this was gonna be more perfect, like we were getting paid a lot of money for this, and
Mhm.
we were gonna do a professional job, then maybe we'd worry more about the different blades.
Makes sense.
Oh, really?
So, are you stuck down in Orange County?
600, not bad.
Yeah, down in Riverside.
Because Saturday we're going to the art museum.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. You managed to swing it?
What's that?
You managed to swing it?
Sorry, say it again?
You managed to swing that with the art museum?
I still can't hear this guy's talking.
Turn the volume up.
Which button? Go ahead, one more time.
You managed to swing that with the art museum?
Yeah.
Nice.
We're gonna look at the daylighting.
Sweet. That's super cool that they let you.
Yeah. Call her up. They were really excited. So we'll film it too.
Are you gonna sneak over to the Van Gogh exhibit too?
No, it's not started yet. I
Oh,
would wait, but this is the best time to do that.
that makes sense.
I know.
Well, that's cool anyway.
I'm gonna go on Thursday night, first Thursday night of the month when it's free.
Right.
Admission prices, even in museums, are so expensive. Okay, where are we? We should sweep this up. Yeah, then we'll go home. So somebody take the blocks and put them in, one of those is a recycle. The blocks can go in there, yeah. I'm not sure what the teachers are doing now. And I'll put that away. That, just open it up and set on the ground. Okay, let me tell you guys. You guys, we're just cleaning up now, so you don't need to watch anymore. I'm gonna shut it down pretty soon, okay?
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah, we'll take those.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's I saw that.
What are you doing?
I think this is like, you were going. Well, sometimes you have to.
Yeah,
I saw that and I'm like, nah, I'm not thinking of it. Try it.
I just wanna get my.
Are you taking?
I already took it.
Oh.
But this is important.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's 111. No.
This is a different one.
No,
Yeah. Oh. That makes sense.
I mean, I started that one, but I thought this was a newer box.
Yeah.
I think the one
I was, and then I was on a cabinet. Well, that's why the cabinet.
Yeah, yeah.
And right now I'm doing. It's okay, I went to a meeting.
Oh, really? At your house?
Actually, a hiring.
Oh, nice.
They're prepping us for hiring to make sure we have enough equity, diversity, questions and things. So we have to go through this training. Yeah. 2 hours.
Yeah.
But the same thing as the meeting. Some people are there and after.
Oh, yeah.
Once you meet the right people, there's a lot of people that want to meet this.
Cool.
Yeah. That's what I mean, the ones who are interested in getting on the committee, if you do that, think about you're interested in, then you can, it'll be enjoyable. Just try to stay away from the ones that are boring.
Yeah.
Can't help it. Go in as a robot. Okay, so we all swept up? Good, good work. All right, you guys, I think we're good. All right. So some of you will see me Saturday, and the rest of you will see Rodney. All right.
Remotely or you?
No, I think Rodney's here.
Yeah, Rodney's is in person.
I think we're all here.
That's why I think you.
School wants to wait till.
And then when does your Monday class start? If it all comes in person?
Not this next one, but the one after. One more.
Are you still gonna do a Zoom class?
Yes. Yes.
Monday.
And I don't want people to miss just to see a Zoom, but I want them, they can't make it, they're working, then they can.
Yeah.
But it's so much better if you can be here.
It might be a little tight, but I have to like all the way from,
Yeah, everybody. Hey, Timmy, hold up, we have an announcement here.
It's just a quick announcement. Is anybody looking for a job, perhaps you live by Ventura? And you're interested in cabinetry?
What's the company? It's not a company.
Wait, what does this one pay though?
Hey, how much does it pay?
I don't know. I don't work for them. I'm working with them at the construction site, at the work site. And they just told me, if you guys are leaving, you know anyone
Yeah.
that's cabinets. They mainly work Ventura and then Long Beach and Los Angeles, and sometimes they come up here to Santa Barbara. Like in this case, they're coming all the way up here.
Yeah.
But they work high-end cabinets. So they have like a huge robotic machine in their shop.
Yeah.
And,
So if you're looking for work and you've got enough skills to do that, go check it out because
they may say, well, look, what if you're on standby? If we have a job up there, we can call you. And if that's the way you're working at the time, you're kind of piecing jobs together, then that would work out good. So it'd be worth investigating. You can always say, oh, it's mostly working on that. We can't.
Yeah, and if you're interested, I would basically just give you their phone number and then you call them. And tell them, "Hey, somebody told me about this, let's talk about it more. They can explain to you what they're doing. I know they're not looking for a very skilled person, more like a reliable.
Like an apprentice type
wanting
thing?
wanting to work, yes, yes. Because I know that, I mean, the owner is actually also working, so he's driving around installing. And they have another main guy that has been with them for several years now. And they have a guy that just started like a month ago, who I think started learning how to use tools. Yeah, they just need help on, putting in at the moment hinges and doors on the cabinets or the drawer fronts or carry things.
Yeah,
They use Festool, which is great.
Do you have the company name?